All right, let's talk about something huge for so many of us, owning a home. It's the dream, right? But after the excitement of getting the keys, there's that one thing that hangs around for, well, decades, the mortgage. We're going to dig into the hidden costs and, more importantly, a much smarter way to pay it off.
So this really gets to the heart of the matter. How do you make sure your monthly payments are actually building your wealth in your home, instead of just feeding the bank's bottom line with never-ending interest? Turns out, it's not about paying more. It's all about paying smarter.
And I bet this feeling is super familiar to anyone with a mortgage. You make those payments every single month, year after year, but there's still that little voice in your head asking, is this house even really mine yet? You look at the statements, and you just have to wonder, where's all my money actually going? Well, we're about to show you.
To really get what's going on, you have to look at the cold, hard numbers. We're going to walk through a case study based on a really typical situation, and let me just tell you, the results are pretty jaw-dropping.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Imagine you take out a home loan for 500,000 Malaysian ringgit, which is around 100,000 US dollars, a pretty standard loan for a family home there. And the bank gives you 35 years to pay it all back. Seems simple enough, doesn't it? Well, hold on. Here's the first shocker. Over those 35 years, you're going to pay the bank 470,000 ringgit in interest alone. That's not paying down your loan. That's just what the bank charges for lending you the money in the first place. That number is huge. It's almost as much as the house itself. And that's because, especially in the early years, your payments are mostly just covering interest.
And that brings us to the grand total. You add the original 500,000 loan to the 470,000 in interest, and you end up paying back almost a million ringgit, 970,000 to be exact. I mean, think about that for a second. You bought one house for yourself, and you basically bought a second house for the bank. Wow.
Now that example is bad enough, but what happens out in the real world? Let's check out some actual stories that show how easy it is to get trapped, paying for years and years and making almost no progress at all.
And this isn't some made-up scenario. This was a real headline. Someone took out a loan for about $40,000. After paying on time for 16 years, that's 192 payments, they still owed almost $37,000. Their debt only went down by about 3,400 ringgit. After all that time, how is that even possible? And believe me, it gets even crazier. Take a look at Mr. V's story. In just over 5.5 years, he paid the bank almost 428,000 ringgit. So you'd think he made a pretty good dent in his loan, right? Nope. Take a look. His actual loan balance went down by just over 2,500 ringgit. It's almost hard to believe. He paid nearly 500,000 and his debt barely budged.
So what's the secret trick behind this trap? It often boils down to something called the base lending rate, or BLR. This rate can change, and when it goes up, the bank has a choice. They could raise your monthly payment, which you definitely notice, or they can do something much sneakier. Keep your payment the same, but quietly add years, sometimes even decades, to your loan. All of a sudden, your payment is just getting eaten up by interest, and almost nothing is going to your actual debt.
And yeah, this is probably how you're feeling right about now. It's that sinking feeling, that oh boy moment, when you realize how the system can really work against you if you're not careful. But hang on, because understanding the problem is always the first step to fixing it.
Which brings us to the solution. The big takeaway here is that getting out of this trap isn't about just randomly throwing extra money at your loan. It's about having a precise, intelligent strategy. It's about paying right.
So what does paying right even mean? Well, according to mortgage experts, it comes down to 3 key things. First, when to pay. The timing of your payments can make a huge difference. Second, how much to pay. We're not talking about random extra payments, but very specific amounts calculated to hit the principal hard. And third, where to pay. Making sure that extra money actually goes toward reducing your loan, not just sitting in some other account. It's a system built on precision.
Okay, so theory is one thing, but does this strategy actually work in the real world? Let's look at the incredible results real people have seen when they switched to this smarter way of paying.
Just look at this chart. On her old plan, Miss Lee had 379 months left to pay. That's over 31 years. But with the SMART method, she slashed that down to just 189 months, less than 16 years. She literally cut her remaining mortgage time in half and, get this, saved almost 86,000 ringgit in interest payments. The numbers don't lie.
And here's what's great. A story from someone who was a total skeptic at first. Kent Lau saw this system and thought, no way.
But he gave it a shot, and 6 months later, he checked his statement and was just shocked. It was actually working. His loan balance was dropping way faster than before, putting him on a path to shrink a 19-year loan down to just 9.
Then you have Jasmine Tang, who points out two really key things: the unbelievable savings, over 100,000 ringgit for her, and how reliable the system is. She says when she checks it, it's always 99.9% accurate. That's what you get with a data-driven strategy. It's not guesswork.
So, what's the bottom line here? It means you don't have to just sit back and let a 30-year loan run your life. You can actually take the wheel, take control of your finances, and pave a much, much faster road to being completely debt-free.
Okay, let's just boil this all down. First, remember that a standard mortgage can literally make you pay for your home twice. Second, those changing interest rates are a hidden trap that can keep you in debt for longer than you ever planned. Third, the key isn't just paying more, it's having a smart, strategic plan. And finally, and this is the best part, with the right approach, you can save years of payments and a ton of money.
So I'll leave you with one last question to really think about. When all is said and done, after 30 long years, what do you want to have? Do you want the title to a home that is truly 100% yours, or do you want a giant pile of bank receipts showing that you paid for it twice over? The choice and the strategy is yours.